Hello, 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 everyone. How's everyone's week been going? Welcome to yet another installment of the quiz stream. I'm your host, MJ from triviamystery.com. Back for another round, are you? So dry January still going strong here in the Trivia Mystery House. I'm still on the teas. This week is called Relaxant. I forget the exact name. Oh yeah, this is we got the trim version. Yes, thank you. This is your new look host. Thanks for noticing. Well, hard not to because I was getting pretty bushy. Yeah, this is so like cardamom, coriander, cinnamon, rose. Smells like cookies. It's nice. It's a bit hot to drink yet though. Yeah. Like if you follow the old ones getting updated, like all these streams that end up on our YouTube channel, so you can probably go through and watch my hair and beard progress. Hi Joe, good to have you back in. All right, so while we're waiting for everyone to get ready, let's go through the rounds that we have coming up this evening. As usual, starting out with some general knowledge. Then where everybody knows your name. What's that? We've capital idea, old boy. Then eat my shorts, not shirts, shorts. Find a flugelhorn, eh? Forgive my accent work there. A little twist on a familiar round. And we've got all you need is love, drugs, and dogs. Then at round 7 will be what's your favorite position? And as ever, round 8 will close out with some more general knowledge. Is it just me, or has this week been longer than usual? Normally it feels like, well, just finished a stream. It's already time to do another stream tomorrow. But this week felt long. I can't really put my finger on what it was. Hello, Shane. Good to have you in. So as usual, in case that we have any new quizzes in, your answers aren't locked in until you hit submit at the end of the round after question 5. 5 questions each round. Yeah, I think we still have a few latecomers trickling in, so we'll leave it until about 5 past the hour before we get started on the first round. Yeah, we are currently on a level of lockdown where we can get haircuts. It's weird. It feels like we shouldn't be able to, but it was getting too much. I was like, I'll risk it. I let it build up a long way, and it's just getting too much. I can do my own beard, but not my own hair. But yeah, there is still a bit of it around, so I don't know if that's wise of the Bucharest city authorities. I seem to be symptom-free. My brother just tested positive, but I think he's doing all right with it. Yeah, Jessica gave it a go early in the first lockdown we had when everything really was closed. I was perfectly happy with it, but Jessica didn't like the result, and she has to look at it more than I do. What's everyone else's lockdown situation like? I mean, and vaccines have started rolling out now. They've even started rolling out here in Romania, but not for us. We are not in the eligible tier. All right, 5 minutes past. So I think people who are in are in. Anyone that joined us late, they can catch up. Good to have you back, Tom. Or chat, as I should say. I'm going on screen names here. All right, so it's round one. It's general knowledge. You know the score. Let's get started. Question one. The world's first traffic light was installed in London in 1868, but it was only in service for 1 month. Why? So, was it that it caused more traffic? It caused more traffic accidents than it prevented. It was torn down by angry drivers. It was deemed too infrequently visible through the regular London smogs. I had a little typo there. I think a little autocorrect, and decommissioned. I wrote that question on my phone, as you can tell. So that should say smog. It's too infrequently visible through the regular London smog and decommissioned. Or question four, or answer four, it exploded. So I'll go through those again quickly. One, it caused more traffic accidents than it prevented. Two, it was torn down by angry drivers. Three, it was deemed too infrequently visible through the regular London smog and decommissioned. Or four, it exploded. Question two. Japan is known for having several islands with high populations of one particular type of animal. Which of these is not among them? Is it Cat Island, Snake Island, Deer Island, or Rabbit Island? All of those are islands in Japan, except for one. Which one is not a real island in Japan? Question three. How old did Betty White turn yesterday? So happy birthday, Betty White. How old was she? Was it 89, 94, 99, or 104? Yeah, it's gonna be a long wait for some of us, I think. Question four. The oldest known piece of animal art was found in Sulawesi, Indonesia, and is estimated at 45,000 years old. What animal does it depict? Is it pig, water buffalo, monkey, or lizard? So we're talking like prehistoric animal paintings. So there's like pre-Homo sapiens art. All right, and last one, we've got a little picture for you. So let's see that on the screen now. What was this guy doing? Circa 1909. Was he bee shooting? Was he playing the world's first game of paintball? Was he dueling with wax bullets? Or was he demonstrating the first underwater pistol? So bee shooting, playing the world's first game of paintball, dueling with wax bullets, or demonstrating the first underwater pistol. All right, so those are your first 5 questions. I'm going to read through them all, just the questions, not answers, one more time for anyone that joined us late or anyone that needs anything repeated. Why is Steam trying to start? That's not good. All right, so question 1 was the world's first traffic light was installed in London in 1868, but it was only in service for 1 month. Why? Question 2. Japan is known for having several islands with high populations of one particular type of animal. Which of these 4 islands is not among them? Question 3. How old did Betty White turn yesterday? Question 4. The oldest known piece of animal art was found in Sulawesi, Indonesia, and is estimated at 45,000 years old. What animal does it depict? And question 5, what was this guy doing circa 1909? And it's this lad here. All right, everyone. Everyone got all of those? No one needs anything repeated? Tea. That's a really sweet one. All right, so let's answer then, guys. I think it's not as many teams as last week, so should be a quick one. Although you never know. You never know with these things, do you? I've got the fish mug out. That was popular last time I used it. I think we're just waiting on one team now, guys. Let me know if the last team needs anything repeated. Has anyone else been giving themselves haircuts? How has that been working out for you guys? Anyone else maintaining a beard? I always go kind of like, I say I can do my own beards, and I can definitely do it better than my hair. But it does always end up a little bit not quite symmetrical. But the guy tried to make it a bit pointier than I usually prefer. All right, come on, last team. Don't make me tap the sign. It's gonna be 30-second timer. Time soon. No one, if you're having tech problems, well, I guess if you're having tech problems, you won't really be able to say in the chat, will you? But last team, I think it's Cat Flaps. Are you there? Can you hear us? I mean, that's the ideal situation. The old shaved head, easiest to manage. I can't do a shaved face anyway. My face is extremely round. It's like a perfect circle. So I need the beard so I can pretend that my face is face shaped. All right, I think everyone's in. So I'm gonna go through the answers. So the first traffic light was manually operated and gas powered. It was a leak of said gas that caused it to explode just a few days shy of its 1 month anniversary. So records differ on whether the operator survived or not. So that was explosion. It exploded was the answer there. Question 2. If you want islands full of cute cats, fluffy bunnies, or graceful deer, Japan is the place to visit. So the other one out, snakes. There's no Snake Island in Japan. There is a Snake Island, sometimes called the deadliest place on Earth, but it's off the coast of Brazil. Betty White celebrated her 99th birthday yesterday, so happy birthday again. The oldest piece of animal art discovered to date depicts a pig, specifically the Sulawesi warty pig. The species appears in 80% of ancient animal art on the island. And finally, that guy with the gun and the getup, that was used for wax bullet dueling. It was popular in the early 20th century as a less lethal alternative to defending your honor with lead. The sport was even included in the 1908 Olympics as an exhibition event. So let's take a look at the scoreboards, see how everyone did in that opener. All right, and the Van Goghs had a perfect round. Cormac's on 4 as well. Then we've got a few 3s and a couple of 2s. Not a great showing from the Poop Smiths, but there's time to catch up. Okay, so well done, guys. Great start to last week's champions, the Van Goghs. Can they repeat? Too early to say, but getting off a good start always helps. So on to round 2, where everybody knows your name. So the Cheers gang aren't the only fictional characters who have some place where everybody knows their name. In this round, I'm going to give you 5 fictional hangouts. They could be bars, diners, cafes, pubs, and you just have to say who you might find in there. So you'll have 3 groups of characters that you might find in any of these hangouts. The first one is McLaren's Pub. So who would you find in McLaren's Pub? Is it Dee, Dennis and Frank Reynolds, Charlie Kelly and Ronald McDonald? Is it Ted Mosby, Barney Stinson, Robin Scherbatsky, Marshall Erickson and Lily Aldrin? Or is it Sean, Ed, Liz, Diane, David, Big Al, John and Bernie and the Breville Outback? So of those groups, who would you find in McLaren's Pub? All right, hangout number 2 is the Bronze. So who might be found hanging out in the Bronze? Is it Zach Morris, Kelly Kapowski, AC Slater, Jesse Spano, Lisa Turtle, and Samuel Screech Powers? Is it Archie Andrews, Betty Cooper, Veronica Lodge, and Forsyth Jughead Jones? Or is it Buffy Summers, Willow Rosenberg, Xander Harris, and Cordelia Chase? So 3 groups of characters. Which group might be found hanging out in the Bronze? Okay, hangout number 3 is Monk's Cafe. So who might we find at Monk's? Is it Jerry Seinfeld, George Costanza, Elaine Benez, and Cosmo Kramer? Is it Leslie Knope, Ron Swanson, Ben Wyatt, and Ann Perkins? Or is it Eric Foreman, Michael Kelso, Donna Pinchotti, Jackie Burkhart, Stephen Hyde, and Fez? So, which group of friends are found hanging out at Monk's Cafe? The next hangout is number 4, Seventh Heaven. So, who might you find in Seventh Heaven? Is it the Reverend Jesse Custer, Tulip O'Hare, and Precious Cassidy? Is it Tifa Lockhart, Barrett Wallace, and Cloud Strife? Or is it Tony Soprano, Peter Gualtieri, Silvio Dante, and Salvatore Bonpensiero? So, which of those little groups might be found at Seventh Heaven? And our final hangout is the Crab Shack. So who might you find at the Crab Shack? Is it SpongeBob SquarePants, Squidward Tentacles, Eugene H. Krabs, and Patrick Starr? Is it Peter Griffin, Cleveland Brown, Glenn Quagmire, and Joe Swanson? Or is it Earl and Randy Hickey and Joy and Darnell Turner? So which of those fictional groups might be found hanging out in the Crab Shack? Anyone need any of the venue names repeated? I don't feel like repeating those long list of character names again. I mean, there's loads of fictional hangouts, like bars and stuff. Where is there anywhere in particular from books, movies, TV that you would hang out? I went to like a secret cinema thing back in the olden days, back when I still lived in London, where it was all done up like Rick's Cafe American. That was fun, although all things like the full setting considered, probably don't want to be in like Vichy Casablanca. What about actual hangout spots like that you've had at uni? It was Mike Spice. That's the place to be. Get the greedy bastard. All right. I think everyone is in. So let's see who hangs out where. So question one was McLaren's. So D, Dennis, Frank, Charlie, and Mac own and operate Paddy's Pub. That's from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Sean and the others spend most evenings and the zombie apocalypse in the Winchester Tavern. So the answer, McLaren's Pub, is the preferred watering hole of Ted, Barney, Robin, Marshall, and Lily. So the characters from How I Met Your Mother. So that was the answer to number one. It was those people from How I Met Your Mother, Ted, Barney, etc. Okay, question two. Zach Morris, Screech, the other students of Bayside High spend their downtime hanging out at the Max. So that's Saved by the Bell. Archie and his classmates from Riverdale High hang out at Pop's Chocolate Shoppy. That's from Archie Comics or Riverdale, the Netflix show. So the correct answer, who hangs out at the Bronze? It's the Scooby Gang, Buffy, Willow, Xander, Cordelia. They hang out at the All Ages Club and occasional vampire lair, the Bronze. Then we've got number three was Monk's Cafe. So Leslie, Ron, etc. from Pawnee, Indiana, they hang out at JJ's Diner. So that's Parks and Recreation. The That 70s Show gang, they hung out at The Hub. So Monk's Cafe featured in Seinfeld. So Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer, they hung out at Monk's Cafe. That was the answer there. Number four, in both the comic and the TV show, the main trio of characters from Preacher are constantly on the move. They never stick in one place long enough to become regulars, so it's not them. Tony Soprano and his boys hung out at the Bada Bing strip club. So Seventh Heaven is Tifa's bar and the headquarters of Avalanche in Final Fantasy VII before the Sector 7 slums are destroyed by Shinra, destroying the bar. But yeah, for the early game, the hangout is Seventh Heaven. So the answer there, Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett. Long-time players will know if there is an answer that is Final Fantasy VII related, probably go with that one. And finally, SpongeBob works at the Krusty Krab, not the Crab Shack. The bar featured in Family Guy is the Drunken Clam. So those are both shellfish related. But the correct answer was, and Earl, Randy, Joy, and Darnell from My Name is Earl hang out at the Crab Shack. So those are your answers. Let's see how everyone did. All right, another strong round from the Bank Goths. They maintain their lead, 9 points. Corn Max right behind, 7 points. Then it's pretty tight. Dude Ranch, Cat Flaps, Frankenbeans, last chap standing, all very close together on 4 or 5 points. And then the Poop Smiths bringing up the rear with 1 point. All right, so let's have a look at round 3, Capital Idea. So slightly more conventional pub quizzy type fare here. World capitals. We've put a little bit of a twist. We won't just ask you what's the capital of Ecuador or something. There's a little twist on the questions. So let's get started. Question 1. Which of these cities is not a capital of South Africa? Your options: Cape Town, Johannesburg, Pretoria, or Bloemfontein. Not sure if I'm saying that right. But there are 4 cities there. Only one of them is not a capital city of South Africa. So you need to choose the non-capital there. Question 2, this one is not multiple choice. The question is, Brasilia became the capital of Brazil in 1960. What was the capital before that? So what was the capital of Brazil directly before Brasilia became capital? Okay, question 3. Which of these capital cities is not within the former Yugoslavia? So, just any Southern Slavic people in tonight, I apologize for every pronunciation I'm about to do. Your options are Ljubljana, Tirana, Podgorica, or Skopje. Which of those is not a city within the former Yugoslavia? Ljubljana, Tirana, Podgorica, or Skopje? All right. Question 4. This one's a 50-50 shot. Are there more national capital cities named for a port or for a saint? So are there more port something capital cities or saint something capital cities? And the last question here, we've made it pretty traditional capital cities round question here. What country is Ulaanbaatar the capital of? So what country has Ulaanbaatar as its capital? So some classic pub quiz geography round stuff here. Let's see who does better on the wacky rounds and who does better on the more traditional rounds. So does anyone need anything repeated? Who's in a capital city right now? We are. That doesn't look like anyone needs anything repeated. So get those answers in, guys. So I think we've got most nights that we do this, we have people in from at least 3 or 4 countries, but I'm not sure how many of them are actually How many of you guys are actually in the capital cities of your countries? I know for sure we've definitely got at least 4 countries in tonight. And that's not including us in Romania. Okay, so just waiting on one more team, guys. Okay, and that's everyone. So let's run through these answers. So South Africa has not 1, not 2, but 3 capital cities, 1 for each branch of government. So they have, similar to the American system, 3 branches of government. Pretoria serves as the executive capital, Cape Town as the legislative capital, and Bloemfontein as the judicial capital. So Johannesburg is by far the largest city in South Africa, but it has no official government role. It is not a capital city. Question 2, before designing Brasilia from the ground up specifically for the purpose of serving as the capital, the Brazilian government was based in Rio de Janeiro. If you just wrote Rio, that's all we needed. Everyone calls it Rio. Janeiro is kind of hard to spell. The change was made largely due to difficulty traveling between government buildings in Rio. They were kind of far apart. Traffic was bad. So they made this like very super planned city, Brasilia. Everything's like slices of a pizza or a clock or whatever. All right, question 3. The answer was Tirana. Tirana is the capital of Albania, which was nestled between the former Yugoslavia and Greece. So Ljubljana is the capital of Slovenia. Podgorica is the capital of Montenegro, and Skopje is the capital of North Macedonia, formerly Macedonia, formerly the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. So all of those were part of Yugoslavia, except for Albania. So try the answer there. Question 4, the answer was Saint. So that has a total of 8 national capitals. So San Salvador, El Salvador, San Jose, Costa Rica, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda, St. George's, Grenada, Santiago, Chile, Sao Tome and Principe, and San Marino, San Marino. So ports account for 6. I won't go through all of them, just did all the saints. 7 if you count Copenhagen, which means Merchant Harbor, but the others are all ports. 6 ports: Port-au-Prince, Port Louis, Port Moresby, Port of Spain, Port Vila, Port Nova. And finally, question 5, nice and straightforward. We asked you, where is Ulaanbaatar the capital of? And the answer is Mongolia. Mongolia, capital, Ulaanbaatar. So let's see how people did with capital cities. And it's changed things up a bit. Cormax had a strong round. Van Gogh's not so great on that one. So the lead has changed. 11 to Cormax, 10 to the Van Goghs, 9 to Doodranch Nurse, 7. It's like one step all the way down. Last chap standing on 7, Cat Flaps on 6, Frankenbeans on 5, and the Poop Smiths on 3. So everyone's like 1 point behind or 2 points behind the team ahead. So everything could change on every round. So let's take it to round 4, last one before the interval. And this round is Eat My Shorts. So we're going to test your knowledge of the humble catchphrase. Once a staple of TV and film, they've kind of fallen out of favor in the last decade or so. I mean, there's still a few, I guess, but they're not as popular as they used to be, are they? So we're going to relive their glory days by filling in the missing words from these memorable sayings. So I'll give you the character name and the catchphrase with missing words, and you have to say what the missing words are. So number one, we've got the brain, and the catchphrase is, "Are you blank while I'm blank?" It's the same word in both blanks, so you only have to type one word. Are you blank while I'm blank? Well, which one? The Ulaanbaatar one? Okay, then catchphrase number two, Lieutenant Theo Kojak. Who loves ya? Blank. Who loves ya? Blank. Complete the catchphrase. Next, we've got Dr. Lazarus, and the catchphrase is, by Grabthar's blank. By Grabthar's blank. Number four is a bit of a shared one. Groucho Marx / Bugs Bunny. Of course, you know, this means blank. Of course, you know, this means blank. And finally, number five. So all of those, all the 1 to 4 are just one word answers. This one's a bit longer. So you're completing a phrase. The character is Truman Burbank, and the catchphrase is, good morning. And in case I don't see ya. So question 5, this is the only one where the answer is more than one word. Does anybody need any of those repeating? Okay, so in that case, I'm going to give you the interval to get these answers typed up and submitted. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes, and we'll check in on the scores. Oh, we'll do the answers first. All right, see you after the interval. Ooh, make sure I'm actually on camera. All right, so I think everyone finished that during the interval. So let's run through the answers. First off, number one, the brain, far too smart to use a simple word like thinking. So of course he asked if Pinky is pondering what he is pondering. That was the answer there. Then Chrome Dome Detective Kojak was famous for his catchphrase, "Who loves you, baby?" Which starred Telly Savalas, released as a single in 1975. Mostly spoken word. He was not a gifted singer. Then number three, in the Star Trek Send Up Galaxy Quest, Alan Rickman plays Alexander Dane, who plays Dr. Lazarus, known for his catchphrase, "By Grabthar's hammer." So hammer was the missing words. And that can be followed by anything from "You shall be avenged" to "What a savings." Then we've got the phrase, "Of course you know, this means war." It originated with Groucho Marx in Duck Soup, but went on to be used by both Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And finally, Truman Burbank of The Truman Show greets his neighbors every day with "Good morning," and in case I don't see you, "Good afternoon, good evening, and good night." It's also the last thing he says on camera before escaping the studio at the end of the movie. 23-year-old movie spoilers there, I guess. All right, so let's see how people did with that one. And it's still close at the top there. Cormac's hanging on to the 1-point lead. The Van Goghs right behind him on 14, and Doudrange Nurse 1 point back on 13. Then Cat Flaps and Last Chap Standing tied in 4th with 9 points, 7.5 for Frankenbeans, 6 for the Poop Smiths. So those top 3 very close together, and then the joint teams in 4th, not too far behind them. All right, so that was round 4. Let's have a look at the 5th round. We've played Find the Flugelhorn before. Find the Flugelhorn, eh? I can't do a Canadian accent, but we can think of this round as like find the Canadian, or just find the person of a particular nationality. So what the way we've structured this round of Odd One Out is we're going to ask you to find the odd one out from 5 pop culture ensembles based on their birth nationality. So because some of them became naturalized citizens of other countries later in life, for ease and clarity and consistency, we are going by birth country for the purposes of this round. So we'll have a picture number 1. And in this one, your task is to find the Australian. So this is a drawing round. So you can draw to circle the Australian. So if you're, you can use your mouse if you're playing on desktop, you can just use your phone if you're playing on your phone. Hit back. Oh, I think we're using a different drawing input, so I don't think the eraser messes things up as bad as on the other one. So you can probably just use the eraser. Try to use a color that stands out, a color that's visible though, because makes things easier for grading them quickly. So just to reiterate, in this one, find the Australian, circle the Australian in the picture. All right, picture number 2. Find the American. So can you find the American in this picture? All right, picture number 3. Find the Cuban. So find the person in this picture who is Cuban. Don't find a Cuban sandwich. Don't find a cigar. I realize when I say find the Cuban, that could be ambiguous. Question 4. Let's see the 4th picture, 4th group of people. Find the Canadian. So in this selection here, can you find the Canadian? And our last group of people, can you find the Dane? Find the Dane in this picture. Okay, so I think the premise is pretty simple. First one, find the Australian. Second one, find the American. Third one, find the Cuban. Fourth, find the Canadian. And fifth, find the Dane. So depending on the media you consume, some of these will be easier than others. Some of them will be more difficult than others. Like the ones that always surprise are like Canadian and British. Canadian's never that surprising because, like, well, it's easy enough for a Canadian to be indistinguishable from an American. No offense to Canadians and Americans in my audience or in my marriage, but for us, at least in England, you're basically the same. But it's often the Brits, like why has his name escaped me? Hugh Laurie in House. That's one that always surprises people, isn't it? When he starts speaking in his real voice. So just if you're having any trouble with the drawing input, just mention it in the chat and we should be able to help you with it. Because it is a picture round, always is a possibility you'll be asked to enter a captcha after you hit submit. That's just a feed, just something that happens with the picture inputs. I'll tell you some of these. Most of them, it's pretty easy to, when I am writing the questions to fact check this stuff. But there was one in particular where it was like I really had to do some sleuthing to figure out just to make sure I wasn't like missing someone, like another person of the same nationality. You can probably guess which one, but I'll elaborate more when I do the answers. Right. Well, obviously, if you grew up with Blackadder and Fry and Laurie and stuff, then it's very kind of bewildering the first time you see him in House. Because he is quite quintessentially upper class British in most of his stuff that he got famous. Okay. All right. So I think everyone's in. So we'll go through the answers. First up, we've got the event that was Marvel's Avengers, all played by American actors, with the exception of Thor, played by the Australian Chris Hemsworth. Then after that, we had the Pythons, all born in the UK, with the exception of 12 Monkeys director Terry Gilliam down there at the bottom. He's American. Then we had girl group Fifth Harmony, erstwhile girl group, all of whom were born in the US, with the exception of solo star and senorita songstress Camila Cabello, who was born in Cuba. So that we had a cast photo from like the heyday of Baywatch. Dozens of actors passed through. So with some of these less famous guys, it really took a while to find out who they were. But it's Pamela Anderson was the Canadian there. So they got all of them American. I double checked, apart from Pamela Anderson. And finally, we had a selection of Game of Thrones stars. There are actually 3 Brits, an American, and a Dane. So it's not strictly an odd one out, but yes, the Dane was the one we wanted, and that would be Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who played a Kingslayer, Jaime Lannister. So let's take a look at the scoreboard after that round. All right, so spread of results there. And it does leave Cornmax holding on to the 1 point lead. So the top three unchanged, 1 point separating first from second and second from third. But that leading trio, they are pulling out ahead of the pack there. Then we've got the next cluster, 11s and 10s. And Frankenbeans at the bottom there, 8.5 points. I think that round wasn't great for that team. So two main clusters there of people close together. We've got the top three, and then we've got everyone else. Still time to close the gap, though, to have a big comeback story. But now we are on to round 6. All you need is love, drugs, and dogs. So nothing beats a good love song except for a good drug song or maybe a good dog song. It's not always so easy to tell them apart. In this round, we're going to give you 5 famous songs and a snippet of the lyrics. You just have to guess, is the song about love, drugs, or dogs? So we'll see them on screen. The first song is Martha, My Dear by the Beatles. The lyrics, Martha, my dear, you have always been my inspiration. Please be good to me. Martha, my love, don't forget me. Martha, my dear. So, is the song about love, drugs, or dogs? All right, song number 2. We've got Angel by Sarah McLachlan. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. Next up, we have song number 3. It's Mandy by Barry Manilow. Oh, Mandy, well, you came and you gave without taking, but I sent you away. Oh, Mandy, well, you kissed me and stopped me from shaking, and I need you today. Oh, Mandy. All right, song number 4. So as with all of them, is it love, drugs, or dogs? Song 4 is Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. This one was written by Stevie Nicks. I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills, till the landslide brought me down. So, love, drugs, or dogs for that one. And our final song of this round is Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd. And I know she'll be the death of me, at least we'll both be numb, and she'll always get the best of me, the worst is yet to come, but at least we'll both be beautiful and stay forever young. This I know, yeah, this I know. So is that love, drugs, or dogs? Of course, there are plenty of songs that are about combinations of the three. And you've got bands like a Silver Mount Zion who just write an entire album about their dog. So these you got to think, are you guessing by the lyrics? They could be symbolic, they could be literal. Are you thinking about what you know about the artist? I mean, there are plenty of songs where people write about drugs like they are a person that they're in love with. Pretty common phenomenon. So let's get those answers in. Oh, yes. That is a good album. And they kept writing songs about the same dog after that album as well. Nelly the Elephant is about Nelly the Elephant. But I think there's like definitely some metaphor there. There's some symbolism, packing her trunk and running away to the circus. Well, there's a play on words on the word trunk there for a start. So I mean, we've really got to unpack that. And yes, that was an intended pun. Can you see them again? Yeah. We can put them up on screen. Maybe, yeah. Let's stick them up. We'll stick them on the screen one more time. So, we've got number 5 up there. Number 1, Martha, My Dear by the Beatles. Martha, my dear, you have always been my inspiration. Please be good to me, Martha, my love. Don't forget me, Martha, my dear. Number 2, Angel by Sarah McLachlan. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here. You can hear Jessica groaning from the other room. Then we've got Mandy by Barry Manilow. Oh, Margie, you came and you found me a turkey. Then at number 4, we've got Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. I took my love, took it down, I climbed a mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. And finally, Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd. And I know she'll be the death of me. At least we'll both be numb. And she'll always get the best of me. The worst is yet to come. But at least we'll both be beautiful and stay forever young. This I know. Yeah, this I know. All right, so we've seen them all a couple of times. Let's get those answers in, guys. A rare treat of some MJ singing. Just one team now. Oh no, I think everyone's in, so we're good to go on the answers. So first up, we gave you "Martha, My Dear" by the Beatles. Paul McCartney wrote this song about his old English sheepdog. He's a big quote from him here. In his own words, "She was a dear pet of mine. I remember John being amazed to see me being so loving to an animal. He said, I've never seen you like that before. I've since thought, he wouldn't have. It's only when you're cuddling around with a dog that you're in that mode. And she was a very cuddly dog. And look at her. She was a very cuddly dog. What a lovely dog." Next up, we had "Angel" by Sarah McLachlan. Obviously, very famously associated with ads for the ASPCA. I think kind of in just internet meminess that's kind of spread beyond America, that kind of association. But McLachlan actually wrote this song about a friend who died of a heroin overdose. So the answer for that one was drugs. Next up, number 3 was Mandy by Barry Manilow. There is a persistent urban legend that this song was written about Manilow's dog, but it's actually a cover of the Scott English song Brandy. It's a fairly straightforward love song. Next up was Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. No, the references to snow are nothing to do with Stevie Nicks' monumental cocaine habits, but rather a literal reflection of the Aspen Mountains she was staying among while writing the lyrics, which were reflecting upon her relationship with Lindsey Buckingham and the struggles of their career in the early days of the band. So that is a song about love and relationships and stuff. And finally, probably the most straightforward lyrically, I guess, I Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd makes references to the numbing effects of cocaine. So that is another drug song. So that's 1 dog, 2 loves, 2 drugs. Not the ideal ratio. All right, let's take a look at the scoreboard after that one. And still unchanged positions at the top there. 22 points for Cormax, 21 for the Van Goghs, 20 for Dude Ranch Nurse. And then the other cluster is still pretty close together. Last chap standing, making a last-ditch attempt to break out of the pack. Some movement, actually, in that little group of 4. They seem to be shuffling around, jostling for position on every turn. So that will be interesting to see how that finishes as well. But we're coming towards the closing stretch onto round 7, the penultimate round. What's your favorite position? So get ready to stretch your mental muscles. In this round, we're going to ask you to match 5 yoga positions with English names. So the names that we will be choosing, the names you have to choose from, so with these matching rounds, we've done them before, a little drop-down menu. The poses are that the names you'll be choosing from are one-legged pigeon, warrior 3, boat pose, downward facing dog, and extended child's pose. Let's take a look at the pictures. So that's number 1. Then we've got the second picture, number 2. Third one, number 3. After that, we've got number 4. That's this one. And the last one is number 5. So you've seen the 5 pictures there. They should be in your answer forms anyway, and you're choosing between one-legged pigeon, warrior 3, boat pose, downward facing dog, and extended child's pose for each one. So it's a 1-to-1 matching situation. Shows love for 5 because of their love for drugs. I mean, technically, he does love cocaine, but the drugness of the song overrides the loveness. We're talking about romantic love for another human being. People love their dogs, but we can't choose love for a dog song either. So this is inspired by our January yoga resolution. Still going pretty well, but we're now 2 days behind. But we're almost 3 weeks in, and we've only missed 2 days. We will finish the whole 30. We'll just be finishing on February 2nd instead of January 31st. But yes, if anyone else has been doing a yoga resolution or has done in the past, this should be a walk in the park. Okay, I think all the teams are in on this one. So we will just run through, do the answers pretty quickly. I love my dog who is on drugs. All right, so first up, we saw yeah, is that just a thing? Sometimes it just says you can't see it, but yeah. So should we hold off on the answers then if someone? Oh, you got it. Okay, so we can go through. Sometimes it doesn't say that we've got it, but we've got it anyway. But good to check first. All right. So yeah, number one, we've got downward facing dog. Good for stretching out those hammies, building some shoulder strength. Fairly classic pose, well-known pose there. Next, we've got boat pose. You know, it's kind of boat shaped. You can kind of, even if you're not familiar, you can kind of work that one out. That one's good for the abs. Then we have Warrior 3, so called because you pass through Warriors 1 and 2 to get there. Good for balance. I think this must just be a thing with the form where it looks like answer 4 didn't submit, but we did receive them. So no panic there, guys. All right, and the offending answer 4. Let's have a look. That one is extended child's pose. You can see the arms are extended. You're just kind of curled up like a baby. Although it's not laughing baby pose, that's a different pose. And finally, we have one-legged pigeon. So extended child's pose, one-legged pigeon, good stretching. So this beginning or the end of a practice, good to stretch it out with those poses. Yeah, so some of you might have seen on the thing where it says what answers you submitted. It wasn't showing anything for number 4. We did get everyone's answers for number 4, so don't worry. And I think everyone got that question right. So congrats on that, guys. Let's have a look at the scores after that one. I think that was a high scoring round. I think we've got a lot of yogis in. And oh, yeah, so I can see several 5s in the column there. And that puts the Van Goghs back on top, 26. Dude Ranch Nurse 25 and Cormac's Enterprises 25 as well, a tie for second place. Then we've got Last Chap Standing with the last minute surge going well, 20 points. Bootsmith 19, Catflap 17, Frankenbeans 15.5 points. So the peloton also still fairly closely grouped, but those front 3, 1 point in it, going into the final round. Oh, are we back in it for another tie break? We haven't had a tie break in 2 or 3 weeks. We were about due one, so let's see how that goes. And as tradition dictates, it looks like, oh no, we had a big tie break recently. Ignore me. But as tradition dictates, it looks like Shane's going to be back in the tie break if one does occur. We don't know. Maybe someone will win outright on this round. That's general knowledge. Our last round of the evening. Be warned. This is a pretty tough one. This is gonna separate the real quizzes. Of course, yes. All right, so let's have a look. Question 1. Which huge website celebrated its 20th anniversary last Friday? So that's like 3 days ago. Was it Facebook, eBay, Wikipedia, or YouTube? Which of those websites celebrated its 20th anniversary a few days ago. Question 2. In what way is the Sargasso Sea different from all other seas? Is it the only sea named after a person? Is it the only sea with no land boundaries? Is it the only freshwater sea? Or is it the only sea below sea level? All right, question 3. The title of the Hawaiian Pidgin Bible is The Good and Special Book, divided into 2 testaments, the Jesus Book and, so what's the other one? Is it the Before Jesus Book, the All Good Book, the Best Father Book, or the Book with the Rules? So it is a translation by missionaries in Hawaii into Hawaiian Pidgin. So if you're not familiar, Pidgin languages are kind of like syncretic languages formed usually when speakers of several different languages working and living in close proximity. So they're found throughout Polynesia, Indonesia, and so this is Hawaiian Pidgin. So which of those is not the Jesus Book part of the Good and Special Book? The other part. All right, and question 4. The Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee is famous for its daily parade of, is it Elvis impersonators, badgers, motorcycles, or ducks? So which can you see a daily parade of at the Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee? And the final question, number 5, last one of the evening. The founders of Portland, Oregon, named their city based on a coin flip to decide between naming the town after Portland, Maine, or which other New England city? So was it Burlington, Vermont, Boston, Massachusetts, Providence, Rhode Island, or Manchester, New Hampshire? So what is the other name that Portland could have done? Burlington, Boston, Providence, or Manchester? All right. I think that's a fairly tough one as final rounds go. I think it's always good to have when we've got a tight race like this. I like to have a hard final round. Obviously, I had no way to know that the race was going to be this close, but I like when it works out this way. I was named by coin flip, and then the coin landed on its side. Heads for M, tails for J. All right, so let's see. Obviously, the likelihood is it's going to be one of those top 3 teams. Could be a tie. Could be a 3-way tie. We had a 4-way tie recently. This has been a real speedy quiz. I mean, we often go 2 hours, usually at least 90 minutes. But it looks like we are going to be done in under 80. Everyone getting their answers in real quick tonight. Not too much dead air. Anyone been watching the playoffs? The NFL finally get that Brady Rodgers playoff showdown that they have obviously been looking for a long time. Should be a good game. Except I want both of them to lose. I'm 100% Bills Mafia at this point. I'm sure everyone with a soul. I'm sorry if I'm babbling about sport that no one watches, but anyone with a soul, unless you are a fan of one of the other three teams, is Bills Mafia at this point. I don't see how a neutral party is rooting for anyone other than the Bills. I think we're just waiting on one team now, guys. So let's hit submit. I think it's our chappers. Okay, no, it's everyone. Everyone's in. Okay, fantastic. We'll go through the answers. So first of all, question 1, Wikipedia turned 20 last week. The publicly edited resource now comprises 55 million articles and counting, available in 317 languages, the most numerous, unsurprisingly, being English. Interestingly, the second most numerous in terms of number of articles language is Cebuano. That's the second most commonly spoken language in the Philippines. So it's of the island Cebu. So not even the most common language in the Philippines, second most common Wikipedia article language, although apparently over 90% of those articles were written by a bot. Then we've got question 2. The Sargasso Sea in fiction, it often exists as a mysterious, becalming region where ships can be mired for centuries. In reality, it is a calm region in the North Atlantic, bounded on all sides by a gyre. So that's currents going around the edges. So that makes it unique among all areas called seas in that it has no land boundaries. Only a thing that stops a sea just being like a bit of ocean is that it's in a gulf or a bay or something, but or surrounded by an archipelago or something like that. But no, it's just ocean currents that mark the Sargasso Sea. Then Hawaiian Pidgin, as I said, is syncretic language composed of a combination of basically English with a streamlined vocabulary and simplified spelling and grammar with some Hawaiian vocabulary words and phrases. The missionaries who translated the Bible into the good and special book called the New Testament, the Jesus book, and the Old Testament, the Before Jesus book, which means, as you might have guessed, the Before Jesus book. The last words of the good and special book are "that's it." That's like a common way to just end stories in Hawaiian Pidgin. Just a really good way to end the Bible. Then question 4. In a tradition dating to the 1930s, every day at 11 a.m., a parade of ducks marches to the fountain in the lobby of the Peabody Hotel. The practice is said to have begun when the then manager of the hotel, upon returning from an unsuccessful hunting trip, drunkenly decided to release his decoy ducks into the fountain as a joke. So back in those days, it was common and legal to bring live ducks on a hunting trip to act as like decoys. I don't know the rationale behind how that worked. I don't think you're allowed to do it anymore. And question 5 was about Portland. So if the best of 3 coin flips had gone differently, Fred Armisen and Carrie Brownstein would be sending up hipster culture in the sketch show Bostonia. So the other option was Boston, Massachusetts, if the coin flip had gone differently. Yeah, that was a tough round, and we'll see how everyone's done. I mean, we could just as well say it's Vikings gold. We've also got gold in our unis. All right, so let's see how everyone did in that last round. That was a tough last round, so let's see how it has shaped the scores. It's a tie break. It's a tie break situation. Red alert, sound the alarms. Dude Ranch Nurse and Cormax Enterprises are tied on 27. The Van Goghs just missing out and taking part in that tie break by 1 point on 26. So close. And then we've got the Poop Smiths. They had a great last round, nearly closed the gap, not quite enough to do it though. Couldn't quite pull it off. 23. Really amazing comeback story from the Poop Smiths, who are languishing in last place for the first half of the quiz. Last chap standing on 22. Cat Flaps on 20. Frankenbeans just a half point back on 19 and a half. So things pretty close there at the bottom. Well done, Poop Smiths. Comeback story of the night. But it is time for the tie break. So Jessica has posted in the chat the link to the tiebreak answer form. So if Cormax Enterprises and Shane's team name, Dude Ranch Nurse, if you can get that loaded up, and I'll give you the tiebreak question now, which is: how many non-human primates have been to space? So closest answer wins. How many non-human primates have been to space? To date, I suppose. Anyone could put another one in space at any moment if they so felt like it. But as of today, how many non-human primates have been to space? Get those guesses in. Closest answer wins. I really hope you don't both go for like the same number, because I don't have a backup tiebreak. What are the chances of that happening, though? Extremely unlikely, surely. Now we wait on bated breath. All right, we have our first answer in. I'm not going to read it out. I don't want to influence the second team. So Cormax, still waiting on your answers, on your answer, singular. And we have your contribution as well, Van Gogh. Thank you very much. Space Monkey, indeed. And we have both our answers in. First team in was Dude Ranch Nurse with a guess of 15. The second team in was Cormax Enterprises with a guess of 20. The correct answer is 32. Cormax Enterprises takes it on the tiebreak. Another tragic loss. Another tragic loss there for Shane in the tiebreak. One of these days, you'll get it. Oh boy. And those guesses were very close together. Congratulations to Cormax Enterprises. Stunning victory there. Leading for like the first 5 or 6 rounds. Then things got tight, but you pulled it out of the bag. You stuck with it. Obviously, there's no way of knowing what the other person's guessed, but that was a real Price is Right situation there. So congratulations to Cormax Enterprises on, I believe, their first ever victory. They've come close a few times in the past, but well done. Great job, Joe. Bringing pride to Cornwall. Another tough loss for Shane, but that's the brutal nature of the tiebreak. So agony and ecstasy, but congratulations in order for first-time winners, Cornmax Enterprises, long-time players, first-time winners. Love to see it. Congratulations again. Congratulations everyone who, for whatever score you got, you all did great today. And it was great to have you all in. A lot of fun as usual, and a lot faster than usual. Well, we're up to about 90 minutes, so kind of normal length. It often goes way over. So yeah, thanks for playing. Good to see you all, and same time next week. But yeah, well done, Cormax. Always fun when we get a new winner. The Van Gogh's very close to being in the tiebreak as well. It could have been a three-way. But yeah, great job, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for playing. Couldn't do it without you. And yeah, see you all back here again next week. Ta-ra!